when it went down. It was so hard to breathe. I gave up.
Let's begin with this beginner's version for Blup. And in this series, we are going to go through all the properties, all kind of functionalities that Blup is providing in this initial version. So over here, what we see is it's the BlupDesigner. So we are going through the bunch of functionalities which are over here. So we are going to first start with the rectangle tool. So I have selected that tool, and what it does is it simply creates a rectangle around whatever you are building. So if you just pick it and drag, you can create a rectangle, and if you press shift, then it goes in this aspect ratio of square. If you want like to create a square, you can create that thing. So let me just make this big version kind of a thing, and by pressing V it changes back to the cursor. Over here you can use these and drag these dots to create kind of like a corner radius, so you can round those corners. So I'm going to round them to something like that, and I'm going to drag it downwards. So yeah, let's just first let me just introduce things to you around it. So now if you it can do a lot of kind of a thing. So if let's go with the property panel over here. So if we talk about the width, you can just go over here and drag it up and down, so the values will change around it. So the values change with 1 pixel every time. So like you can see, I'm dragging it, and it goes with the width. And this for the height. If you want to increase, decrease height, if you want to give a padding, like if you want to it to have a padding on any side, left, this is for the right, this is for the top, this is at the bottom. Padding is like a extra space that you give to a rectangle or a text or any kind of a widget. So all the things that we will build around it's called widget. We are using the terminologies which are used in Flutter, so kind of similar things that we are going to use. But if you don't know Flutter, it's not a problem. I'm like, as we will go through this whole series, you will understand that you don't need to learn any kind of a framework to build a mobile app through Blup. So images, we will come to them later on. So this is the radius that we were talking about, the corner radius that you can just up and down them. This is the fill that you can use. Let me just bring it down, so you can just give it any kind of a color that you like. You can just change those color. You can even change the transparency of that color if you want. You have a tool pick. If you want to pick some color, let's say I want to pick this color, I can use tooltip for that kind of a thing. So let me just do it black kind of a thing. Okay, so you have border, so you can increase the border. It is right now a gray color of a border. You can change the color of it to anything. Let's just do this. Okay, so then you can use these shadows as well. Shadows, you can have any kind of a color given to the shadows. I'm just going wild with the colors. So yeah, you can have any kind of color. You can make it go in any kind of axes, x or y. You can blur it out if you want. If you want it same, you can blur it out. Not want to blur it out, whatever you want to do, you can do it. So if we talk about the images, let me just bring some images into it. Let's say I wanna drop this image. So as you can see, this is a GIF image, GIF. So you can drag and drop GIF, simple images, or whatever you are planning to do. So what you can do as well is the zoom in and zoom out. So what you have to do is press Control and just use the wheel in on your mouse, and if you are using touchpad, then you can just use two finger scroll with the not the two finger scroll. I think it's the pinch to zoom. You would need to pinch it to zoom in and pinch out for zoom out. So like this, you can zoom in and you can zoom out. Like if you wanna look at its face, we can just go very deep into looking into it. You wanna go over here, yeah, we wanna see this time how it is done. So like you can zoom in and you can zoom out around this functionality. So this was all about the rectangle tool, and lot of the things are going to come along with it, because like this thing is not that much useful right now, but it will be very very useful when we are going to work with the Blup lightning, which is going to provide it necessary logics to do really amazing things. So now if we talk about the text, so text is simple. You can just, wherever you want to put in text, you just drop it. And let's say Blup series something, and press V again to change it to the selection cursor. Go over here, you can just drag it to increase its size if you want. I'm just trying to show you how to change its size. You can just up and down it. This is over here. So if we go around the font sizes, so here on the right hand side panel, I'm over here, right hand side panel. So this is for the text. If you want to change anything or want to add anything, you can do from here. You want to change the font size, you can do that. You want to change the color, you can do that as well. Let's just make it blue. Same paddings, you can give padding to it, up, down, top, bottom. Line height, you want to give some line height to it. Now line height, so yeah, so this is the line height. If you want to put in some letter spacing, that you can do as well. You can put in some letter spacing in it if you want. You can change the fonts. We are currently working on a functionality where you don't, like, you can, in the Blup can it can just go through the system fonts and will fetch all the fonts that you have on the system. So that's going to come really soon. So if I'm going to change the fonts to, let's say I want to change to Poppins, and I want to change its font size to semi bold, so we can do that thing. If I want to text align it, so I can change that thing. So text align, for text align, let's see, let me make it big. And now as we can see, left align, center, right align, or justified, like you can change it to whatever you plan to do. And now this is the max line, like maximum line you want to give to a text. It works for the multi-line kind of a thing. If you have text in multiple lines, you don't want it to go above certain lines, then you can give it those lines. If you wanna, like, I've now given it the maximum line of 1, so series is gone because it's on the second line. So that's how it works. Its default number is -1, so that it's kind of like a false. uh, 1 second, it will remain false. So maximum lines will be infinite if you will make it -1 kind of a thing. So text overflow, uh, like if you tick it, then it will show three dots at the end. If you have pick it, so it ellipses the text, it cuts the text from the ending and put in the three dots in here. Now if you want to just make it a text field, then you can just tick that button, and you can just bring it here. So it has become a text field now. And now if you want to increase or decrease its size, you can just increase its width and height. So these are all the properties for your edit text, where you can just put in anything. So these are the paddings, these like background color you want to give it to it, hint you want to put in somewhere. As you can see, there's hint. You can change the color for the hint. Border color, if you want to change the border color, this is the unfocused border color. I will just make it blue. Let me just make it green. Right now may not be visible, but now it is visible. So this is the border for it, like this thing, as you might be able to see it. So for the focus width, you cannot see it, the focus width right now, because it's not focused yet. For that you have to run the application on your device, and then you can see the focused one. So unfocused, that is what you can see. So like I'm just making it up and down, so it becomes the border goes like that. Now if you wanna make a corner around it, so you can do it as well. So with this, like, you can put a corner on those focused widths and heights. If you want to change the color of a cursor, you can do that. Cursor's width, height, and radius, you can change them all. So yeah, that's what was for the text.
When it went down, it was so hard to breathe. I gave up everything in a slow